Hey everybody, it's Joy Packard. How are you guys doing? And it's been, let's see, it is Wednesday, almost 8 p.m. at night. And I just got back from going on a date with one of my kids. I've been doing that a lot lately. I've been taking out the little grandkids, and tonight I took out one of my daughters. And so it's been so fun to have a lot of my kids moving to San Antonio. It's super fun to have my kids, most of my grandkids nearby, and to be able to spend time with them. And I have been like, we've had people moving, and been helping, and sometimes in our life we get on this path of just trying to get everything done that we need to, right? And then something happens, like your kids moving into town, or your help being needed to babysit, or whatever it is. And so what happens is, you have this routine. I have this routine that I do, in the mornings, and exercise, pray, read, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure that you guys have your own routine as well. And sometimes, or a lot of times, we have things that happen that make us and take us away from some of the things that we're so used to doing on a routine basis, correct? And if that's you, feel free to comment and say me, and I was just kind of reviewing my week and reviewing the last few years of things that I am doing. For example, I'm on this roadmap to whatever it is I'm doing with whatever projects that I'm doing. And sometimes things happen, life happens, and it puts we're just stalled right in our place, right? One of those years was whenever I had a knee injury. I remember specifically that this one year, it was 2016, that's when it happened, during Christmas. And many of you know, I had this terrible knee injury where I was playing volleyball and I went up for a spike and came down, and all of a sudden I heard my knee just like never before. In all of my many years of playing sports, I never hurt myself like that. And I thought, the next day is just going to be better. I'm just kind of limping right now, and I'm not going to have to worry about it, where, it's just going to get better again. And so the next morning came, and it wasn't better. And in fact, it was worse. And then I thought, okay, well, tomorrow, it's going to be better. And of course, again, the next day came and it wasn't better again, and so on. And this lasted a good 9 months. It took 9 months of my life to have that injury. I honestly thought I would never walk again, to the point where when I saw people walking, I was thinking to myself, man, if I could just walk, put one foot in front of the other. I remember thinking that during that knee injury. But it was that time of my life, for the 9 months that was happening to me, I was thinking to myself, man, this is taking such a toll on all of the things that I'm doing. And suddenly all the focus, was on that knee. All the, the pain, it's almost kind of, I don't know if any of you have had an injury before. I've had neck injuries, I've had knee injuries, shoulder, back, all kinds of stuff. And what happens is, when you're going through that, it's almost like all the focus goes on that, right? The pain of your neck or your knee, and then nothing else matters. All of a sudden you are like, I just need that pain to go away, right? And I was thinking about that in a different way, not so much pain, but so much, I don't know if I would call them distractions. I pretty much would call it just like living your life, where you might be, on your road and your roadmap to doing the things that you need to be doing. And you're like, okay, 2021, here's the things that I'm going to do. And then all of a sudden something happens, maybe it's an accident, or maybe you suddenly are becoming a caretaker to either one of your grandkids or an elderly parent or something. And suddenly your whole world has changed. And suddenly your focus goes on either that pain or that situation. And it's almost kind of like everything else comes to a halt. And so I was thinking about that today. I wanted to share my thoughts with you on that, because, it is something that happens to all of us. It's life, to where, like I say, maybe you're doing a business venture, and, these are the things that you want to be doing. Or maybe you are doing some sort of fitness goal, to where you want to, run that marathon, or lift that heavy weight, or whatever it is, and suddenly you are are doing a new fitness plan, and then suddenly all of a sudden you get injured, and then you can't do it for a while, right? It all of a sudden your focus becomes on what happened, like the injury, or maybe you got ill, the setback that put you there, and you just have to focus on either getting better or focusing on the situation at hand before you can move on to going back to whatever it was you were doing. And this last week it was just I've been trying to do a podcast today, and it kind of came to a halt last week because I just had so much stuff going on in my life. I had kids moving here, and helping with grandkids, and just so many other things, and I just didn't have it in me. And here's the thing of the matter too, is like when life does happen to you, and suddenly all of the different goals that you had, and you're trying your very best to do those things, and suddenly, like I say, something takes over, like an injury or a situation. It's like, okay, here it is, and here I am living the very best life that I can, and making this particular situation the best that I can. And so what has to happen is you are living that, and you are trying to get through it, and suddenly, maybe for a little while, those things that you were doing, you're doing the very best you can. And that's the important thing. It's like, if I can just like now, tonight, I'll do another podcast. I will record it, and I'm able to do that again. But there might be times when you're doing the very best you can, and situations arise to where it stops you from doing that. And there are times that happens, that sometimes people feel like a failure. They're like, I said I was going to do this, and maybe you're on a running schedule to run a race, and then suddenly, like I say, you had a stomach bug, or you were injured, with one of the running things that you were doing. And so that situation, that issue, that problem, that pain, that thing called life that interrupts, these interruptions that come, we have to just get through it and make it through. And then when it's over, we just get back on track the quickest way that we can. And that's the way, I was thinking, like, for me, like, that's the way I have to live, my life, where I can't let that get me down, and don't feel like, oh my goodness, I was on a roll making a podcast, doing a podcast, recording one every single day. And then I had to take care of my kids or grandkids or something, and it stopped me from doing that. I shouldn't let that particular thing, like that setback, not let me, finish doing what I'm doing. Because like there's certain things that we're doing. And like I say, whenever that happens and it helps, it just somehow gets us off track, we shouldn't feel, like a failure. We just get right back on it and say, okay, now I'm getting back to what I'm doing, but it's like, you can't just like not help, right? Like if your kids need you, or you need to babysit, or, you have, like I say, that pain in your knee or your shoulder, you have to take care of those things. And you can't like be so down on yourself to not get those things done, right? You have to like basically live your life and take care of it. Those things, those interruptions, those, situations that interrupt your life. And that's life, and like I say, there are times when, things like this happen, and then suddenly we are just like, oh man, I can't do those things. I'm right in the middle of an intensive mastermind project for 8 or 9 weeks, and like I'm super behind. I'm way behind. Like I yesterday I was so tired. I literally had to listen to my body and just lay down and take a nap. I was thinking to myself, I have so much to do, but I'm like so tired, and like I have to listen to my body. And that's sometimes what you have to do as well, is like listen to what your body is telling you. Like if you have to rest, then you need to rest, because it's almost like if you just keep on going and don't rejuvenate and don't recharge, I guess, then it's super hard to continue on that road and on that path to be doing the things that you want to and need to be doing, and goals that you wanted to do. So I hope this is making sense. Like I say, it's just something that I want to share with you, because the things that I live, and the things that I go through on a daily basis. It helps me as I'm recording it, for the topics, to be able to hopefully to help somebody who may need to hear it. Because, all of us are trying to live our life, right? We go day in and day out. We either work or we stay home and take care of kids, or we're working from home, during this pandemic, trying to do, the very best that we can. And it's hard, life gets hard sometimes. We have those interruptions. We have, like I say, the sickness that comes in from a child, or, a child, one of your kids that need you, and you may have to put 2 hours aside to just talk and listen. Or maybe it's somebody not even in your family. Maybe it's somebody like, that is your neighbor and needs your help, and suddenly the project you're working on, you have to stop doing what you're doing and go help them. You don't have to, but you can choose to, to realize that life is full of disruptions, and it's full of, situations, I guess, to where we just have to be strong enough to, listen to those around us, listen to our body, listen to those who are around us that may need our help, and help them and help ourselves, do the things that we need to do for our health. And then we can get back to what we're doing. And so whatever it is in your life, whatever it is that you're doing, as far as like a project, or, somebody in your family that you're trying to help, and, taking the time to do that, and then not feeling bad that you're not on track to do the things that may have been on your to-do list, or that goal that you've been working on. And then as soon as you can, you just get right back to it. And that's where you start winning. That's where you win, is like when you are overcoming, like, okay, I know this is hard. I know I had to do this. I know I had to stop and, take a break from this, either take a nap, go help somebody, go listen to somebody, go write a letter, whatever it is, and then get right back to it. So, all right, I'm going to go record a podcast. I just wanted to get on here and say a quick hi and, share this with you, and hope it is helping somebody out there who needs to hear it. And if so, feel free to comment and share the video. A lot of people ask, can I share this, or can I, do this or do that? Yes, always. It's just a good thing to help others who may need to hear it. So have an amazing rest of your night, and I will talk to you soon.